Uh, the beauty of um, the jolt, as we saw last Friday, is that it gets rid of all the dust. The dust in society, it accumulates on things, just as it would anywhere. If you imagine what, say, Pompeii looked like, all that volcanic ash and dust. Then somebody comes along and just sort of gets rid of the dust, and they see what's underneath it. You start to reveal things. Same anywhere else. Give anything a jolt, dislodges, just falls to one side. You start to see the form of what's underneath. That form of what's underneath is really what I started to suspect some time ago. So really shouldn't have come as much of a surprise. People starting to openly discuss where are the fault lines, what is the most base fault line in society of, let's just say, the source of disagreements. And I've been saying for some time, I started hinting, actually in certain places, the fault line is the masculine versus the feminine, male versus female. So what happened on Friday is little Vlody, an agreement had been struck, had been reached, shall I say, had not been struck, had been reached, with a lot of discussion over the past many weeks since Trump's inauguration. Could have been a sign at Munich, at the security conference there, but it wasn't. Hence, he got invited over to the White House last Friday to sort of seal the deal, because the Trump administration thought that a deal was there. Zelensky turned up. He overslept on the morning. He was due to have a meeting with, I forget his name, whoever's in charge of finance and administration. Was due to have a meeting in the morning with him. He missed it because he overslept. That didn't go down well, did it? So Trump and Vance and Marco Rubio, they thought they had something. Marco Rubio, he had a meeting with Zelensky, and it started to come out that Zelensky had changed his mind. So if you watch, there's lots of clips going around of the press conference. You tend to only see the last 10 minutes. I mean, I've only posted 10 minutes worth or less. So you get to see the fireworks within the last 10 minutes. I found the full 50-minute clip of the entire press conference, and it goes out pretty well for the first 40 minutes. It's cordial, even tempered, I would say, with respect. And then from the 40th minute onwards, it starts to fall apart. Where little Vlody starts to want to change things. It starts to come out that he really doesn't want. Rather, he's starting to ask him for. He's starting to renegotiate as he goes along. In a press conference, he thought that if he could strong arm DJT into rolling over live on TV. Basically, it's the same with why a lot of men do a marriage proposal, in a stadium they got a camera over at a football match. They do this in the States. They put the picture up on the big screen, and they do the marriage proposal, get down on one knee, and it's even that happens in restaurants, busy restaurants as well. By putting the woman on the spot, it makes her in a very difficult position where she can't say no publicly. And Zelensky thought he could pull the same trick in that press conference. Only it didn't work, because he's been around all these different leaders, and he's had Joe Biden and Kathleen Kamala, who just rolled over. So Zelensky is used to all these weak leaders basically saying, yes, how much, how high do you want me to jump? So he's used to having his own way. It didn't work this time, did it? Mr. Trump doesn't work that way. Neither does J.D. Vance. Look into J.D. Vance's career and what he's done. Look at Marco Rubio. Look at the body language of those two, Vance and Rubio, sat next to each other on the couch. That speaks volumes. So, they thought they could, Zelensky thought that they would all roll over and renegotiate on the fly. Yeah, it didn't work that way. And of course, all the reaction we've seen since has broadly gone the way I expected it to. And all the hissy fits, especially from Europe, that how dare anybody stand up to the bully. Translation, standing up to the bully means trying to get their own way. It's all defense of the covert narcissism. When you understand covert narcissism, not overt narcissism, actually need to understand both. When you recognize what the two of them look like, you then understand that what was going on in that room. And the reaction, certainly here in the West, in Europe, I should say, and then with the Democrats and the left in the US, has been along the lines of how dare there's one person or this one administration not roll over, and hence all the hissy fit. Finally, somebody standing up to him. But it is a case of Zelensky and everyone else not realizing that this is now the first time that they've met masculine leadership, and masculine as opposed to a feminine leadership, which is what Zelensky's seen so far. And he has experienced that masculine defense of boundaries, and finally somebody with testosterone telling him and putting him in his place, which nobody else was willing to do so before, because that requires testosterone. So it's instructive to see that let's say finally people starting to see what kind of masculine leadership does look like in practice, and because they haven't seen it so far, or have been so unused to seeing it since decades and decades and decades, so when they do see it for the first time in a long time, it's a slap to the face. For them it's a very rude wake-up call. I was expecting it, and I'm glad I finally saw it. Unfortunately, everybody else wasn't. They didn't expect a leader to actually behave like that, as I would expect them to. There we are. And that's the fault lines in society.